Hi, I'm Andy Canode from Top Acoustical, and today I'm going to be telling you almost everything you need to know about acoustic foams. Today we're going to talk about the difference in soundproofing and acoustic treatment, recommended places to install, sidewalls and the mirror trick, how to install, bass trapping, and then we're going to do a before and after test. Well, it's important to know the products to place into your studio for acoustical treatment. There is a difference between soundproofing and acoustic treatment. To put it simply, soundproofing is to reduce the amount of sound going out of your room or coming into it. In other words, if you have somebody on the outside of your room that you don't want to disturb by the sound coming out of your room, or if you have a noisy highway or some other sound that's coming from the outside that you don't want to affect what you're doing inside. Whereas acoustic treatment is to help reduce the sound reflections within the room that you're recording in. Now, both soundproofing and acoustic treatment are important, but they're not the same thing and they can't do the job of the other. However, they can be incorporated together. Now, if you're getting these acoustic foam pieces to help reduce sound as soundproofing would do, they're not really going to help you out. However, they will help you shape the sound within the room that you're recording in. It is equally important to know where to place them within the room. And a good place to start is the mix area. And probably a point of main concern is just behind the mix position. And the reason for this is a primary source where early reflections will occur. And early reflections are, as you can see in our example, the engineer will be seated roughly 2 to 3 feet away from the speakers. And so the sound will be coming from the speakers, but also reflecting off of the wall and reaching their ear at roughly the same time, which causes cancellation effects and filter effects that are very undesirable in the mix. So a good place to start in your studio would be the center of your mixing area, directly behind your monitors, centered between the two of them. If you have the luxury, though, of having more panels to mount, it's a good idea to largely cover this entire wall. In addition to determining how high your panels need to be on your side walls, it's also important to determine how far back they need to be. And one of the ways to determine that is a trick called the mirror trick. In order to do this, while you're seated at the mix position, have a friend hold a mirror along the side wall and slide it along until you can see the reflection of the loudspeaker in the mirror. And at that spot is where you want to place our panels. The next place we're going to turn our attention is the side walls. Now, the biggest concern here is the height at which you place the panels. Now, generally speaking, you don't want to place the panels too low near the floor because that's just going to be a waste of sound absorption. At the same rate, you don't want to put the panels too high close to the ceiling because you want the panels directly in the middle to where you are going to be seated because that will give you the best perceived benefit. If, however, once the room is finished, you still notice some ringing or flutter echo, that is typically caused by untreated areas higher up on the wall. Now, this is easily remedied by just some simple spot treatment higher up. So typically you might want to start maybe 1 to 2 feet above the floor as the place for your bottom panel. And as we've done here, we've left some space between the panels. This has some benefit besides the aesthetic ones. Obviously this looks nice, and you can create some interesting designs, but also by spreading out the absorption, you actually increase the amount of absorption that you can get from the given number of panels. We could do a similar pattern from what we have here already, and maybe leave 4 or 5 inches between a panel, and then another panel up here. There are several different ways to attach the acoustic foam to the wall. You could use hammer and nails, you could use foam tacks, you could use adhesive spray, but all of these will cause damage to your walls. And if you're like me, in a space where you really can't do that, I think that command strips are a nice alternative and very affordable. And plus, you have the added benefit that if you decide to rearrange your room, they're very easy to take off the wall without causing any damage and be able to move them to a new place. To install the acoustic foam using command strips, first measure the area you wish to install the acoustic foam. That way you know if you have enough space. Second, no matter the command strips, you should clean the surface with rubbing alcohol. Do not use regular household cleaner. I made that mistake a little while ago, and let's just say it did not work out well for me. Third, separate the strips and apply the red side of the strip to each corner plus one at the center. Fourth, once you have decided how you want the foam to go on the wall, go ahead and place it on the wall and press each side firmly for 30 seconds. Again, failure to do so can result in a piece falling down. Once you have done all of this, you are done with the installation. The best place for bass trappings is going to be in the upper corners of your studio. And the reason for this is the low frequency energy tends to congregate in the upper corners of the room. Additionally, with a smaller studio like this, we really don't want to take up any additional space on the floor for treatment. So I put the bass traps in the extreme upper corner. We're not really wasting any floor space now. All right, this is the sound of my voice before putting any acoustical foam into the room. That's so good. And this is my voice after our sound treatment. That's so much better from where we started. That's going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching.